data is vital to the test flight program.
If on the day of the first flight the flight instrumentation does not work, we will not fly. So it's, I think that sums it up, you know.
Despite the seriousness of the task ahead, there's no doubt the A380 is beginning to generate a real buzz.
It's really great to be here. We've been waiting for it so long, and now it's we're almost there.
March the 30th, and the plane is in a hangar again for final tests on the electrics and hydraulics. The moving surfaces are working, but one safety critical system still remains unproven.
Okay, cheers.
Simon Sanders is back for a last-ditch attempt to show the landing gear will deploy properly. His team hope they've come up with a solution to the problem with the sticking wheels.
This is the ramp on the wing gear door where we put the grease last time. Now for a more robust solution, we've applied a layer of Teflon paint, which is similar to the Teflon, the coating that you have on non-stick frying pans. So this will reduce the friction when we do the freefall. We're going to now perform the test to demonstrate that with this low friction Teflon coating that we've solved the problem.
The man they have to convince is test flight engineer Gerard Dubois, who'll be sitting in the cockpit during the critical first flight. If Gerard is not happy, the first flight will be delayed.
I want to be sure on this aircraft, before taking the aircraft in the flight test department, that the landing gear is working perfectly well. If it doesn't work, I will refuse the aircraft until the system is completely safe.
As the landing gear is retracted in preparation for the test, everyone is aware they cannot afford to fail. In the cockpit, the system is primed.
C'est parti, je lance.
The problem persists, but at least the gear slips free sooner than last time. In flight, the airstream will probably shake the gear free sooner still. It's up to Gerard to decide if he's happy to accept the plane with the gear as it is.
It's not marvelous, but it is working, and at least even if the left landing gear is not extended at the same time as the right one, yes, I think I will accept it. Yes.
The team will continue to refine the system, but at least the plane can now be handed over to the test pilots. Fernando Alonso is taking the opportunity to look around the plane to check that nothing has been missed in the final push.
Like always, at the end there's a big rush. We'll get very excited. But if at some point in time you need to take a decision, okay, now stop, it's over, and we take it over, because otherwise it will just go on forever and ever. So.
The plane has everything needed for the test to come, including these water tanks that will simulate the weight of hundreds of passengers. But in the rush to get ready, it appears that something's been overlooked. The cabin lights are not working.
Cabin illumination is switched off. So we have no possibility to switch the cabin illumination.
I need the lights.
The cabin lights
need to have them on.
to be off. We have been having handover meetings for the past 2 weeks. Yeah. Nobody ever said that the cabin lighting was not working. Nobody ever mentioned the limitations. Nothing was said about lighting. So now we put on the breakers. If something burns, it will burn.
With Fernando's words ringing in their ears, the engineers get to work, and in no time the lights are on. Immediately the mood changes, and the plane can be officially handed over.
J'ai la clé de l'avion.
Et moi la carte grise.
For Gerard Dubois, it's just like taking delivery of a new car.
L'avion contre la voiture. On a une tradition en France, par exemple, un concessionnaire livre une voiture à son client, en général, il offre simultanément un bouquet de fleurs pour sa femme. Aujourd'hui, on a un magnifique bouquet de fleurs accroché sous l'avion. Ce sont des fleurs qui ont été cueillies ici, autour de l'avion. Voilà, tradition respectée à la française.
The A380 is towed to the test flight department, leaving behind the factory where it was assembled. It's a journey of only a couple of miles, but it signifies the beginning of its new life as a flying test bed. Quite a crowd has turned out, and everyone wants to know how long it will be until the plane flies. Previous aircraft have taken about a fortnight, but Alonso won't be pinned down to a specific date just yet.
I really do not want to be under the pressure of saying it's 10 days or 2 weeks. I don't know. It'll be when it'll be. And nobody is keener and more eager to fly than we are. So I think you just have to rely that as soon as we feel that the airplane's ready, we will fly.
In their time, these guys have test flown everything from airliners to jet fighters, but this is their biggest challenge. On previous programs, they have performed takeoffs with runways flooded with tons of water. They've deliberately scraped the fuselage along the ground during takeoffs, and they've flown aircraft to Siberia to test them at 50 degrees below zero. Plus, they've thrown passenger planes around the sky in the most extreme manoeuvres. It's a challenging but satisfying job.
It's something which is rather demanding. It asks you to be at your best level permanently, because you cannot cheat. You are really flying in real conditions, and it's something which is stimulating, I would say.
Within the next 12 months, Jacques and his team will be pulling manoeuvres like this in the A380. But all that depends on getting the plane into the air. The first step is to get used to the aircraft, to make sure that they are familiar with all the systems and that everything is working.
C'est un cup holder, ça. Ah ouais, les cendriers, oui.
Non, mais les cendriers, il n'y a plus de raison d'en conserver.
Bah, c'est les chewing-gummeries.
La tabagie est en voie de disparition.
Pour ceux qui veulent des chewing-gums, il faut bien qu'ils puissent les poser. Sinon, ils vont les coller sous les FCU.
On y va là ou pas?
Oui.
On peut y aller?
Tu peux refaire un coup de freinage sans parking brake si ça ne dérange pas.
Là, j'ai pas de parking brake.
Alors tu relâches les pédales, voilà.
C'est normal de se transformer degrés, c'est bon.
Brake saute.
Ouais, ça marche.
By April the 8th, the team are ready to test the engines.
To start the engines, there's one ignition, which is that one for the APU. That'll start engine number 1. That'll start engine number 2. That will start engine number 3. And that'll start engine number 4.
With emergency crews on standby, the A380 can at last start to come to life.
Le sol pour le 2. Prêt pour le 2. 2, 1, top. Main ouverte.
The smoke is caused by a protective layer of oil burning off as the engines are run one by one. Testing and monitoring the engines takes 2 long days, but now the aircraft can move under its own power for the first time. The next 10 days are spent on further detailed checks on the ground, and the A380 becomes a familiar sight at Toulouse International Airport, taxiing up and down. Gradually, the speed is increased, and most importantly, the brakes are tested. By the look of the tyres after the tests, the brakes are well up to the job.